We are running out of space. A lot of comments have come in over the last little while here saying, what are you going to do when you run out of space? Oh my gosh, you're running out of space. And I always denied it. I was like, no, we got tons of space. And we do have lots of space. We can continue developing the Lego city and continue adding more sets to the shelves here. But eventually we will run out of space. So what is the plan? That's what we're going to be talking about today in this video. In addition to that, we're also going to be talking about the Lego city, just doing a brief recap of all of the different projects that we have currently going on. And we're also going to give you a timeline on our plans for the future. So there's lots of stuff to talk about and a lot of stuff that Jose and I are really excited about because I think our goals for the future are actually relatively achievable. And I've got a pretty good idea. I've been thinking about it for quite some time. And I'm going to say that we're probably going to be able to execute these ideas within 5 years. Let's get started with where we're at today in this Lego room. So this is the happiest that Mrs. Bricksie and I have ever been. We have created a really cool Lego room in the basement of our house that we moved into in August of 2020. We actually took this unfinished basement and we finished it specifically for a Lego studio. It's pretty awesome. It's about 750 square feet roughly of Lego paradise. It took us a while and a lot of trial and error to get it to where it is today. Specifically having the shelving section right when you enter the basement was a legendary move. Everything is just so visible. It looks so amazing and there's so much stuff down here. In fact, I think it's really hard to grasp how many Lego sets are in this area. I mean, I look around and I'm like, oh, it doesn't really look like that much, but it is just like ridiculous when you start to look at it, like on the Brickset website or something like that. We have so much Lego jammed on these shelves from IKEA in this area. Now, this section of the Lego room, I'm stoked on this section. It is absolutely fantastic. There's so much room for activity all around here. There's a nice wide hallway. It is awesome. And that's one of the big positive changes that we made when we converted our Lego city and the layout of our Lego room is we made a lot more room so that you can freely move around down here. So we're not really running out of space in a sense of being able to move around down here, work on the city and place sets on the shelves, but we are running out of space for things that we want to do as we move forward. Okay, I won't lie, we're also running out of space on the shelves as well. They're getting pretty full, but you can always just like sell Lego sets or cycle them off the shelves if you wanted to make more space for more Lego sets as they come out. We can also get creative by putting more shelving and stuff on the bulkheads and around the tops of the ceilings and everything like that. But the reality is it is getting really full down here. That's for sure. There's no questioning that. So that's sort of the situation with our Lego shelving. They are getting rather full, but we do have spaces available that we can still continue to add more stuff, but it's getting pretty full. Okay, so what about the Lego city? Our Lego city is always evolving and changing, and we're always coming up with new and unique ideas to continue growing the Lego city. It's always a different layout. Every time I turn around the corner, I'm changing something. But the Lego city is far from being completed. I'm going to say it's going to take us at least another year to complete the Lego city in its current state. Because there's a lot of things that we need to work on, such as the amusement park. This is not complete. This, nowhere near complete. So we need to come up with a new layout here. We need to Mills plate everything. We need to get the minifigures placed. We need to just get this whole area developed. And included in that is creating a whole bunch of new mocks and stuff like that to accommodate all of the different rides, and just Mills plating everything is going to take a long time. Specifically over here too, we need to blend in this platform and get this all done, such as the loop coaster, that big gap right there, the coverings for the platform, everything like that. We are going to be changing this area right away here. With the new Sanctum Sanctorum coming out, we're going to be forced to render our entire pop culture street, which definitely needs to be redone because the zoo is just sort of in an eyesore spot right now. I know it's an eyesore, but we haven't really started working on it. But I will tell you, stay tuned, because when the Sanctum Sanctorum comes out, we will be rendering this entire street, including the zoo. So what about the modular buildings or the downtown core? Well, that's pretty close to being done as well. We need to add a lot of storytelling here with minifigures. We also need to finish the platform coverings and add a couple more modular buildings. And then we need to mills plate the entire residential area. That project has been on the back burner for quite some time. I won't lie, I am a little bit exhausted from doing mills plates. There's a little bit of burnout happening in regards to the mills plates. I won't lie there, because it takes a long time to develop mills plates or a Lego City on mills plates. Boatyard, got to build like a Coast Guard shack, a rental shack, maybe not a rental shack, but like just like a little shipping receiving office. Got to build a wall here. Got to build our entire farm. Our entire campground has to be done as well. Also, our Ninjago area has to be done, along with our Ninjago temple, our rock wall, and also the dojo temple needs to be figured out, along with these open base plates and stuff down here. Not to mention the entire under table scene. We need to do the medieval area. We need to rework the underwater scene, and then we need to build our train yard. That's going to be under here as well. So that's sort of where we're at with the Lego City and the Lego shelving. So it seems like we've got our work cut out for us. So why do we need more space? I mean, it's pretty obvious that the Lego City doesn't really need more space, because there's enough space here to be consumed by all of the ongoing projects, and there's also a bunch of space in the city that can be opened up and freed up for more modular buildings and stuff like that. So really, the city is fine. We don't need much more space for the city, because we could probably still fit 15 more buildings in here if we tighten everything together. You probably can't visualize it as well as I can, but you could probably fit 15 more buildings in there, which is quite a bit. That could probably, you know, do for a few years at least. But one thing that drives me crazy about this Lego room, I guess driving crazy would be sort of the wrong terminology, but just the amount of space for moving around. When you get Jose down here and you get 2 dogs laying on the ground and a cat laying on the ground and you're trying to move around down here, we got Jose building something here and me live streaming over here, and then this chair's pulled out and it's just like you're bumping into stuff here and you're building stuff over here and you're bumping into a table over here. And then we do like an auction, or we do some brickling sales or something like that, other entities of our Lego-based business, and we're shipping all of those parcels every week out of our kitchen. When we're editing videos and stuff like that upstairs in our little mini office with the elliptical and stuff like that, it just gets a little bit cramped, and it sort of doesn't, when you start doing things like that, your house doesn't really start to feel like your house. It sort of starts to feel like your business, your place of business and your place of work. So sometimes it's just a little bit difficult for Jose and I to escape that reality of working, or of like, you know, escape reality by taking time off and hanging out, because you just feel like, you know, you come into your kitchen and there's a bunch of stuff for shipping parcels all over your kitchen table and stuff like that. And it just feels like you're sort of getting trapped in your work. So I would love to fix this problem, get more space for the city, get more space for a shipping area, get more space for Lego shelving, a live stream area, more parts and stuff like that, because check this out. We've got these parts that are hanging out there. We've got all these parts, and then when you come back here, there's more parts back there. So we're absolutely jammed in here. That's all full. Under here, I don't really have any space for any storage or anything like that. In this room right here, we're absolutely jammed. This is the only storage space we have. We're absolutely jammed at this point. So we can't really get anywhere. We don't really have any more place to go. The only place to go, if we want to expand what we're doing and increase our operations, is to sort of bring it upstairs, and it's just sort of driving me nuts. But there is an economic, not really an economical, but a smart solution that I'm going to present to you right now about how we can expand our operation in the future. And the timeline for that, I would say, is a maximum of 5 years. Let's have a look at that. So I've actually been doing some research, and the ultimate solution for us would be to actually build something that would go onto a large acreage style property. And I found this website here, which is called Integrity Buildings. And when you click on their gallery of the things that they've created, it's sort of along the lines of, some of these are along the lines of what we would like to create on some sort of acreage. And I just think that something along the lines of this would be pretty cool, or something like this without all the big garage doors. To house all of our Lego, just having something like that would be absolutely phenomenal. The size of it could be fairly large, maybe like 40 by 80 feet, which would give us quite a bit of square footage. That'd be about 3,200 square feet. So way more square footage than we have now, almost 5 times the square footage, about 4.57 times. So quite a bit more square footage if we were able to create a building like this. It definitely wouldn't need to have monster high ceilings. I think building something like this is actually, for what it is, quite affordable actually. Maybe something like this here, like it doesn't need windows, it doesn't need anything fancy. Just in this cold climate of Alberta, it needs to be heated. It probably will need to have plumbing and of course electricity as well, because we're going to have to get some really good lighting in here. But it looks like this company has produced quite a few awesome buildings. I don't really have any experience with this style of stuff. I don't know how much it would cost. I don't know the exact timeline on building stuff like this, or any of the details. But when I was on this website here, I actually decided to go to their homepage, where I was able to click on residential buildings. And I know it's not a residential building that we're trying to build, but I was just trying to figure out, what does something like this cost to manufacture on a property? So these are just post and beam models, and I was just like curious to know, like, what do these things sell for? Like that one looks pretty good, the ranch hand. Get more information on that. I mean, this one has an interior, like all interior walls, and there's bathrooms and bedrooms and stuff like that. But these things start at about $80,000. And of course, I mean, the price is subject to change depending on what you're trying to develop. But I can't see some of those other ones that we were looking at costing more than $80,000 based on the fact that they're not residential buildings. I mean, this is a fairly simplistic looking building that doesn't have any windows or any fancy features or kitchens or anything inside. So I think building one of these would be fairly affordable for what it is, and would be able to accommodate the Bricksie studios in the biggest way and give us the most amount of space to get the Lego out of our house, but still on our property and very easily accessible. So I think building something like this would be absolutely incredible. Obviously, we're not able to build something like this on our current property, because our current property wouldn't be able to accommodate this. You'd need some sort of acreage with probably 2 to 3 or even 4 or 5 acres of land. So then I got thinking to myself, well, what can I do in the Edmonton area here? I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And what can we look at to try and get something like this built? Like, what do we need? So then I headed over to another website right here where you can search real estate listings in your area, and I hearted a few of them right here. So I actually have 11 different ones hearted right now, and these are all in Canadian dollars. I don't know what properties sell for in the United States, but these are not too bad. I'll tell you right now, the property that I currently live in is about $520,000, and we've been able to accumulate a bit of equity in this building that we would be able to use as a down payment for one of these buildings if we ever decided to execute this idea. Now, ideally, I'd want to put 20% down on any one of these buildings here. So as you can see, some of these price tags, I mean, you're going to have to put about $120,000 down to buy a property like this. But when you look at the size of the property and you see that this property here, in fact, can accommodate large buildings, I think it's pretty epic. If we were to own a house like this with a massive property and put one of these barns on that property. Now, obviously, the property would be, some of them are older, farm-style houses, but you could definitely make them look pretty good. And I think this one here, for example, looks pretty good. And you can buy more modern ones, ones that are just a little more modern, 3-car garage, etc., full finished basement and all that, nice kitchens and everything. So you can buy reasonable properties here in Alberta for about $600,000 to $1 million, which, I mean, I guess isn't a reasonable price, but I mean, these properties are absolutely monstrous and they could accommodate some pretty cool stuff. Now, another beneficial thing of doing this is it actually frees up our basement. And Jose and I always said, when we have the 2 kids and they're fully growing up, it's going to be a little bit hard to operate in our current property just because the basement is fully consumed by Lego. And it would be nice to have our basement back, and it'd be nice to get the business out of the house. So we were just looking at some of these. Obviously, these listings aren't going to be available when we go to make these awesome changes. But it's always cool to look at this stuff here in Alberta. And what would we have to do in order to get one of these and to get the barn? Well, obviously, to get the barn, Bricksie would have to start saving some money. Not buying so much Lego maybe, but maybe saving some money for that huge expense. We would also have to stack more money into the house here and gain more equity in order to buy one of these. Other important thing too is we'd have to wait for interest rates to go back down because interest rates have spiked. This is a beautiful one here. It already has a massive garage. So yeah, there's a lot of great options here in the Alberta area that we would be able to potentially move into and build our massive barn style building to accommodate the Bricksie studio in just a massive space with unlimited space that we would be able to accommodate all different entities of our business and can continue to grow our business and continue to further develop our Lego city, our Lego collection, and just other entities that we would run out of here, such as a Bricklink store, Whatnot Auctions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely a lot of opportunity here in Alberta, and a lot of opportunity with the channel. And I think that it's something that we could potentially achieve in the not so distant future, as long as everything just keeps going the way that it potentially is going. So I know it's sort of out there, it's sort of wild, thinking that we'd want to own an acreage with a big building like that on the property, but I just think that's better than renting a shop because we wouldn't have to drive to work. It would just be right on our property. The security would be fine. The ease of access would be there. The unlimited space would pretty much be there. And I just think that's the solution to all of our problems. And we really want to make this a goal because we have the twins on the way and stuff as well. So this house that we have now is just going to become a lot more cramped fast. Let us know what you think of our goals for expanding the Lego studio by commenting below. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Farewell. Bye-bye.